big, big, big spoilers for HBO Max's special Distant Lands. If you do not want to talk about it, if you don't want to see anything about it, I don't know why you clicked the video. Big spoilers. You've been warned. Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. This is the 5-minute mark, the only show where I put 5 minutes on the clock to talk about everything and anything that I want. Adventure Time was such an amazing show. It was made in 2010 and ended recently in 2018. Briefly after I had watched the finale of Adventure Time, a new show was rumored to come out called Distant Lands. It was going to live on HBO Max, and it was going to be a kind of expansion of the Adventure Time universe. Inherently, I was really excited and very scared at the same time because it could have taken something that I love so much and just ruined it, because as everybody knows, the sequel is never ever as good as the original. That brings us into today's topic, which is why I think HBO's Distant Lands is a complete waste of time. I got 5 minutes on the clock, so I'm going to break it down. To kind of understand my frustration, I do have to go back to the original show. It always had this sense of breath and actual life to the universe. When you watched an episode, you felt like the universe and the world around you was changing in very believable ways. I love that type of thing. That's why I love Marvel, because they change their characters and the world in such a believable way that makes you want to come back for more. But Adventure Time had a ton of characters and a ton of episodes, although some were fillers, very hard fillers where you didn't feel like it was really worth the watch. Some were really in-depth episodes on the characters that you would eventually come to love, and even the ones you hated in the beginning became ones that you absolutely adored at the end. Because of the show's actual length per episode, it was only about 15 minutes per episode. I actually didn't mind the fact that there was so many fillers with every season, and as the seasons continued, the filler actually became less and less. But because of the just pure number of episodes, you felt like there was still a chance for the storyline to come through in later episodes because of how many chances they had. This brings me to HBO Max's special. There are only 4 episodes, and each only being about 45 minutes long. Because of that, you really had to get into the story. When I watched the final episode of Adventure Time, there was so much storyline, and by the end of it, you see a flash forward super distant into the future, now following 2 different characters, and the world has changed drastically. And so because of this, I thought HBO was going to really hammer in the storyline. But with the first 2 episodes out of HBO Max's special Distant Lands, I felt like it was super underwhelming. I really wanted to love it. BMO, the episode BMO, it did kind of at the end show how BMO came into Finn and Jake's life, but it did feel like, why do I need to know this type of thing? And with the episode Obsidian, it felt like it was a very copy and paste type of storyline, and it delved a little bit more into Marceline's backstory, which was great, but it didn't really evolve the characters of Princess Bubblegum and Marceline, and not only them, but their relationship together. The best parts of both episodes were at the end, where you see our heroes, Finn and Jake. Adventure Time is definitely Finn and Jake centric. Like, they're the core of the show. Although you could have a lot of different episodes with different characters, I think it at the end of the day is their story. Naturally, with this new special together again, it was the best in storyline, in universe, in story building. At least for me, it felt like an actual episode. Like, this could have been the first episode of Distant Lands, and it would have shot through the moon, and everybody would have been excited for it. It was so deep because it wasn't really a story about how one person got to the other, or like how for some reason the civilization was getting destroyed and these people had to help. It wasn't a regular Adventure Time adventure. It was really an adventure about Finn and coming to terms with the fact that his long friend, almost basically brother, had passed away, and now he has to live without him, and he has to be okay with it. But through this last adventure, you see him evolve as a character, and even though he's fighting with Jake one last time in the afterworld, by the end of it, he comes to the realization that he has to live life for himself. But because HBO couldn't be extremely heartless and leave us all in a sad note, Jake does decide to go back with him and they're reunited. They're together again, hence the episode's name. And they choose to be reincarnated as something else together. But it was a really nice, really well put together story, I think, as though even though Finn didn't really get reincarnated by himself, he is accepting that when Jake dies, if he dies first, that he isn't going to live to see him again. He isn't going to be living day by day just waiting for him to die so that way he can see his brother again. He's going to live and appreciate life for what it is. And that's how HBO saved their entire Distant Lands special with one episode. It's been 5 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. I hope if you're not an Adventure Time fan that you like the video still, and if you are, it's been good. I still like the other episodes. It's just not as, it just feels a little bit more empty to me. You could leave your 2 cents. I'd love to hear it in the comments down below if you have an opinion. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the 5 minute mark. Peace.